This video will be gowning and gloving yourself. So Casey has just finished scrubbing her arms. You can see her elbows are dripping. She's walking into the OR with her hands in the air, keeping her elbows away from her body. So she's going to walk into her Mayo stand, keeping the 12 to 18 inches away. You can see she grabbed the paper towel from the inside of the towel and not the edges. What we're watching for when we're grabbing our towels is to not drip on our gown. So Casey's opening the towel, folding it in half, and then you're going to drape it over one hand. So Casey is going to move her arm that she is drying. She's not going to rotate her arm that has the towel in it. So notice she's rotating her right arm. The whole time she is watching to make sure the bottom of the towel is not hitting her. Okay, notice her stance. She is standing with her feet and bending over, kind of behind out, okay? So she switched the towel to the other hand, same thing. She's now going to rotate her arm that she's drying again, making sure that she is keeping the hand that is drying completely covered, watching the towel so it's not hitting her scrubs. If you have a circulator in the room, they will go ahead and take the towel from you. Otherwise, you can just throw it in the garbage or drop it on the floor. Casey's going to reach in like a claw and grab the gown. So notice she's not grabbing it from the front edge or sticking her fingers over the edge to touch the blue wrapper. She's also staying away from her gloves. Okay, so grab it like a claw wherever you can, staying 12 to 18 inches away from your sterile area. So how she opens the gown, so she can read the writing. So I don't know if you guys can see that, but the writing is there on the gown, and you can see the gown is smiling at her. It's also going to open like a book away from you. So Casey already has her hands in the armholes before she's even let the gown drop, okay? She stepped away from her sterile area so that her gown doesn't hit the Mayo wrapper, let it drop. Now she is going to hold with her left hand. She is holding the gown since she's sticking in her right hand first, and she's going to the side more in front of her and watching. And then she's going to stick her hand on her belly. You don't want to stick your hand up higher on your chest because that is too close to your face in an unsterile area. So she's holding the gown with her right arm and now sticking her arm in while watching to make sure her hand doesn't hit anything unsterile, and sticking your hand on her belly. At this point, you can approach the Mayo stand. Your circulator is going to come in and tie you up. So Casey is adjusting her gown here, making sure that her fingers do not go into the white cuff because that is not impervious. So if your hands go into the white cuff, you're going to be contaminated. So she's kind of folded her cuffs over. She's walking in. Notice she's keeping her backside out to keep her belly away from the Mayo. You get too close, and now your gown tie is going to be contaminated by hitting the Mayo wrapper where you've touched it, okay? Or the gown wrapper, sorry.
Make sure these white cuffs aren't flapping over the edge like this. Remember, it's only sterile on the top surface here, and that's why I always suggest to students to kind of tuck them as you're getting yourself situated. Otherwise, a lot of times we see them flapping out here past what's sterile. So tuck them, but before you put the glove on, make sure you flop them back out because otherwise they get stuck on the inside.
Okay, so Casey's going to open her glove wrapper. This is not like open gloving yourself where you have to open the wrapper all the way. She's just going to open it enough and set it down that she can reach in and grab her glove out without her glove wrapper going to an unsterile area of the cover, okay?
I've had lots of students think that they have to keep it down here while they're trying to get in here, and then we tend to shift the wrapper like this, so we want to make sure. I always suggest just actually picking it up, opening it, and then kind of setting it down to grab the glove out. If you feel like it's starting to shift, just pick it up so you're not messing around with it.
All right, so Casey has her fingers, again, you're gloving your right hand first. So she's let her cuff come out, but she's keeping her fingers in the blue part of the gown. Now she's going to take the glove. She has the thumb side down to her palm, so there's the thumb, and the fingers pointing towards her elbow. She's going to make little pinchers with her thumb and her first finger and grab the cuff with her right hand on the underside and grab her cuff with the left hand pinchers on the top. Okay, she's going to flip the glove over her right hand. Yep. Now we call this spaghetti. So a lot of times when you get nervous and you're trying to learn something, students have a tendency to get their hands close to their face, and we'll tell you have spaghetti because your glove fingers are flopping, or they end up getting it way too low. You're only sterile down to your waist, So we need to keep it up between our armpit and waist level, okay? And away from your face. So at this point, Casey has let go of her glove. She's starting to pull on her gown and just wiggle her fingers out of her cuff, okay? So that glove is all the way on. Now she can reach in with her sterile hand. You can notice that her cuff is right about at her knuckles. So that's about good placement for your cuff of your glove. Again, she's watching, keep making sure she's staying away from the mayo wrapper, gown wrapper, sorry, I keep saying mayo wrapper. Again, thumb to her palm, fingers towards the elbow. She's using her pinchers to grab the underside and the top side of the glove, flip it over. She's gonna stop pulling the glove on and then she'll start pulling her gown. Okay, wiggling her fingers to get them out of the cuff. Okay, so at this point, you do not touch your mayo stand anymore. You will see some people that think it's okay to grab the trash and throw it away. No, because the edges of that are not sterile. So at this point, your nurse should come to your right side. So you're going to take the left side of your tie out. You're facing your sterile field. I am going to, as the circulator, the not sterile person, grab this at the end. So kind of notice that it's split into thirds. So Casey's grabbing on the far end. I'm grabbing on this end. I'm walking around Casey. She is grabbing the tie and I'm pulling the card off. Okay? All this time she's facing her sterile field so that she doesn't have her back to a sterile area.